Sup, you Eurovision fools? Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. Welcome back to Mattitude, the Eurovision live stream where we talk about, you guessed it right, Eurovision. And happy 2022. I know this is only the first Mattitude of the year because, I had some health issues, but we are on the road to recovery, and that's all that matters. But going forward, we'll have plenty of Mattitudes for you, and we talk about it. And today, I think this is just the perfect opportunity to talk about what happened over the past few days and even week, as well as what we are looking forward to. Thank you for joining me today. And we're, of course, going to cover the national finals that occurred last night, the results, the aftermath, and all of that. And of course, look ahead of what's happening. And keep in mind, this is also a very interactive process. So please make sure to ask your questions when you do it in the chat, always at ESC United. So I know you're talking to me and not to somebody else. And this has been an interesting journey, I'm sure. And let's delve right into it. Now, I will go through the main topics of the day, and let me just go for them, read what's happening, and afterwards, I will actually then share my thoughts. And at the very end, not at the very end, but at that point, I will also ask for your opinions and your thoughts and ask your questions so that we can delve right into it. So I think the two shows that we should talk about first, of course, Moldova, that had their national final, which was more of a audition more than anything else, as well as Spain. So let's start with that first. Let's take a deep breath and see what has transpired, and then we'll talk about all the rest. But it's said, we after two semifinals and a grand final, the revived, I should say, Benidorm Festival. We now finally have a winner, the name of the artist that will represent the Spanish colors in Turin, Italy. But before we get into the results and look into that, let's have a quick look at how we got to this point in the first place. So let's rewind time back all the way to ancient July of 2021 when the Spanish national broadcaster RTVE, they decided to hold a press conference in the city of Benidorm. And here it was announced that the festival would be revived and would be used to select the Spanish act for the upcoming Eurovision Song Contest. Now, back to the present. Today, we had two semifinals and then that were held, featured a total of 13 songs. There were supposed to be 14, but one act decided, I don't do singing. I just do autotune. So, but then now we're down to 8 songs left in the competition, or were, I should say, with 4 acts qualifying from each semifinal. Those 8 acts performed last night. We had a final feature, the guest performer, Pastora Soler. In case you don't know who she is, you're a newer fan to the contest. She represented Spain in 2012. And in 2012, she finished in 10th place, one of the best results Spain had in the 2010s, actually tied with 2014 Ruth Lorenzo. Now, in terms of the results, this is how it works. The results of the show would be in the grand final were similar to what we saw in the semifinals. The final outcome was split into 3 sections, and with the professional jury being in charge of 50% of the outcome, then the demoscopic jury, they would do 25%, and the televote contributes 25%, those who voted, right? The professional jury were first to announce their votes in the finals, and at the end of the first 50% announced by them, Chanel was in the lead with 51 points, and that would claim a lead by 5 points, by a 5-point margin over Rigoberta. She had 46 points from the juries. But there was a little bit of a surprise, or was it? It was in the results as they came in, and I never know how to pronounce their name, Tanju Jeras, who suffered a pretty big loss in the jury vote, only getting 30 points, if I'm not mistaken, from the professional jury, but then would go on to win both the televote and the demoscopic jury vote, receiving max points from both groups, 30 points each group, combined 60 points. Now, despite this really big push from them, it just wasn't enough And after the professional jury had already pushed Chanel and Rigoberta too much ahead to catch up. So ultimately, Tanjujeras, 90 points in total. 1 point ahead of them was Rigoberta with 91 points. And then Chanel got 96 points from the combined results, which means, obviously, no surprise, that she won Benidorm Fest with 96 points, clinched the victory after a close vote. Now she will have the honor of representing Spain in Turin with the song Slow Mo. So it was a nail biter and it was a fantastic show. The quality was just out of this world. And Chanel now has the privilege, for the lack of a better word, to not having to worry about the semifinal situation because she is going directly to the finals as Spain is part of the Big Five and doesn't have to worry about that. So this is definitely what has transpired, right? The results come in, and it was interesting. So it was basically a three-horse race between Rigoberta, Tanjuera, and Chanel, because they basically were almost in the top three, except for the jury vote, where the trio was kind of voted down. And yes, that is what's happened. Chanel was in tears. She was happy. She was excited. I mean, who wouldn't be? You won Benny Fest and you get to go to Eurovision, a great boost for your career and all of that, right? So that was a great moment, but afterwards, unfortunately, as things happen sometimes in the world that's Eurovision, people were not happy with the results. And Chanel finished third in the televote, second in the demoscopic jury, but still ended up winning. And a lot of fans were not happy with that. They feel as they were overruled. Their opinion was not taken into consideration, especially considering that the televote itself, like the masses, the thousands or millions of people voting, well, there were hundreds of thousands of votes, I think, they're only were made up of 25% of the vote. Yes, you're the demoscopic jury as well, which were selected people, a couple of hundred, I believe. I don't have the exact number in front of me. But they're voted as well. But the actual televote or live vote, they only, were 25% of the overall group. And someone said in the chat, by the way, Tanju Gairas. Tanju Gairas is how you pronounce it, or Jairus. I don't speak Spanish, and I'm always slightly embarrassed because I live in Southern California. You would think I know a little more, but no. Anyways, back to the topic. Since that happened and that occurred, Chanel received a lot of backlash from the fans. And for the reason I just mentioned, they feel as the jury ignored the title. They had their own mind and they were overruled. And they're claiming, and I know that one of the jury members is actually close or like friends or some kind of connection with Chanel, and she had that unfair advantage on top of it. And oh, it has gotten really ugly on social media, which is not the first time, and spoiler alert, not the last time that this happened. And Chanel being super happy, excited on the show, in the press conference. Soon as she leaves, she sees all that stuff that's happening, and it clearly hits her hard. There were accusations now that she stole the song. It's plagiarism by a song from Eleni Ferreira, and people were just attacking her directly. And it gotten to the point where she actually apparently had to delete her Twitter account because it was just so bad. And other acts like Raiden came out and in support of Chanel, pointing out how an amazing live performance and she was the best of the night and everyone should just be happy for her. And this is just how sometimes the cookie crumbles, and not to kind of put her in this really difficult situation. And I think that is a wonderful thing to do. And it is what it is. So hopefully the fans will be a little less harsh towards Chanel. And in a minute, I will also would like to hear your thoughts as well. But yeah, so I actually said yesterday on Twitter, if you're not following me, there is the Twitter handle in the corner. I did say something to the effect of, if you are really angry and upset right now, walk away. walk away from social media and go to bed. And things, you may still be angry, but you're not going to be as impulsive. That is usually the best thing you can do. And I still say that right now. If you're that angry, don't just yell at people, and certainly don't just attack Chanel, who is a young and talented singer. Because look at her, she was dancing her ass off and was still able to sing, and it was very well executed, right? So I know, I know that people here, I'm probably preaching to the choir, but it is always very sad when this happens. And I know it's like deja vu. It happens every year, and every time I say the same thing, and then we're back in the where we started. But to get back to the point, is that I was mighty impressed with the show, and I actually enjoyed 7 out of 8 songs. That has probably rarely ever happens, I should say. There are a few times where I see national finals that are just so good, but Spain just showed us how amazing they can be. They cannot go back on that. We know what you're capable of now. Don't try to go back to the 2010 era where we're just like, "Oh." Now we know you have what it takes. And regardless of the outcome, how you feel about the winner, or even the results in May, you have quality, and that is exciting. Now, I listened to the songs previously prior to the actual show once. I did my reaction videos. You feel free to check them out. And the song that stood out to me the most and I was addicted to virtually immediately was Raiden's song, actually. And I still stand by it. I saw his performance. It was fantastic. I love that song to pieces. I'm sad it didn't win. It came in 4th place, so it wasn't close enough even to be a contender, apparently. But I thought it was amazing. I was super duper happy. And in terms of other songs, I was actually the song that really, really caught me off guard, I will say, was Rigoberta's song, Ay Mama. I was like, I was going crazy. I was like, oh my God, this is a flippin' banger. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And I was so sad it didn't win. It was so close. Oh, if the Demoscopies wouldn't have given it a 2nd place, she probably would have won. But hey, there's nothing I can do to dwell on the past. But I love that song as well. And I also really much loved the act that was the Tanju J Gagers. Uh, they were great as well. So those were clearly my top 3. Raiden, the band I cannot pronounce, and Rigoberta. They were by far my favorites, and any of them would have been at the top of my list at this point, and probably would be hard to kick off my ranking. Now, as you can see, Chanel is not necessarily one of my favorite songs in the running. It was still a great song, though. How I described it personally is like it's a decent, okay song that is very Americanized, but with a fantastic performance. And she sold that song. I was like, hot damn, that was very well executed. Now, will I listen to that song in the studio version? Yeah, maybe. I will not turn it off. It's good. It's a banger kind of thing, but I find it a little bit more generic, while the other songs had a whole lot more personality and uniqueness to it, which I don't quite get from Slow Mo. That doesn't make it a bad song. I don't think it is a bad song at all. It's a flippin' banger, and the staging will really set itself apart, I just personally gravitate towards some of the other songs a little more. And but yeah, so that was my observation, but I'm still happy for Chanel. But I like I said actually on Twitter, technically Chanel was probably my number 7 out of 8, but the top 7 were so good that I wasn't even that sad. I mean, I was bummed out for a moment because I was like, oh man, Rigoberta, Ray, I really want them to win. And then they didn't. But I'm still happy for Chanel. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this whole situation about how the Chanel back Lash and all of that stuff. Again, at ESC United in the chat. I will not see your comments right away unless you tell me that. Emily is saying, I think fans who send these threats don't understand the true meaning of Eurovision, which is respect and love to everyone, not just your favorite. That is what I'm thinking as well. A lot of it comes, I don't know, there's no statistics out there that we can track. If it comes from Spanish fans that are only, excited once a year, or true Eurovision fanatics like us, we can attract that, or it comes even from international fans. I don't know, but yeah, they don't understand the true meaning of it, and that is why maybe a lot of countries go with internal selection, because if the fans don't agree with the winner, they get all upset. So that is definitely very upsetting. Jelly is saying Raiden was amazing. I actually think he would have done really well at Eurovision. His charisma was just everything. Yes, I completely agree with that. I still think, as much as I love Rigoberta's and she drove me crazy with the performance, I was like, oh my God, queen. But Raiden's song was just fantastic. And I loved the staging. I loved his energy. I loved everything about it. So I hear you on that. Now, in terms of Benny Dormfest, I do think that the voting is a little off. I think number one, you need to have more people on the jury. If they make up 50% of the vote, they have almost all the say. Like if they want to dunk or drown a song, they can do that. They either need to have more people on it, or what I recommend is, and I think they do that in Sanremo, but correct me if I'm wrong, they shouldn't have half of the vote. At a minimum, at a maximum, I should say, a third, 33%, like a third coming from the juries, a third from the demoscopic jury, and a third from the televote to make it fair and even. The fact that they get a much bigger percentage is unfair. And that was my biggest issue. And that is what we need to focus on. Fixing the issue at hand. It cannot save the current situation, unfortunately, but that is just what I think needs to happen in come 2023. Fix the voting, take a little bit of power away from the juries, who can then just, because if this would have been the case, the 333 breakout, as I mentioned, I would have to look at the points, but either Rigoberta or the band that I cannot pronounce would have won. So it is absolutely necessary to make it a fair thing. Ray, we already had that one. Maria says, I hope we finally get out of the bottom five with Chanel. She is such a pleasure to watch, a very talented performer, Maria is saying. I agree with you. I would be shocked if Spain is somewhere in the top five, regardless of what you may think of the outcome, the whole Benny Dorm situation. Chanel song, it is a capable performer and has a lot of things going for it. And I can see this one do really well with the juries, actually. If she continues to perform and sing well, because if she messes up vocally, that could certainly be the drowning point for her. We don't know. And I know that the comparison between some prior acts comes in mind, which drives me nuts when they do it. But yeah, it is a certain style. And people say, well, she's the next Eleni Ferreira. She's going to be just as high. Some people are saying, no, she's going to be more like Tamta, like by one group, but not the other in the midfield. Or is she going to be the next Croatia TikTok? That is what people always talk about. It could be any of these, right? Now, granted, she doesn't have to worry about qualification. I get all of that, right? So TikTok may not be the best comparison, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. So I don't know exactly where Spain will end up. We don't know the competition yet, but I would be shocked if this is a bottom five song. But then again, we all know things could go a little bit down south. Let's see who else has a thought. Refoist is saying, I see Benifest becoming an institution I hope to see in person next year. Yes, Benifest has to stay. Absolutely. Everything I see there has been high quality song-wise. Again, let's disagree. Feel free to disagree with the winner. The actual quality of the event, I mean, top notch. I loved everything about it. And I just loved everything. What Spain did really well, they didn't have this drawn out 4-hour show. They just had a show that the songs came on, they had interval acts, they had a little chit chat here and there, and then the results. It was perfect. The hosts were great as well, from what I can see. It was really funny, by the way. I've been tweeting all evening about the show, and I was like very mesmerized by that one host. I'm like, who is she? And is she hosting Eurovision next year? Right? And I tweet about it. Her name is Alaska. And people were going insane when I tweeted that. I got like, what is it, 1,500 tweets, right? Likes right now or stuff like that, and hundreds of retweets. crazy how people went crazy over that one. But they're like, it's Alaska, she's famous. I'm like, all of America, we don't have that exposure. But apparently she's super popular. So I thought she was fabulous. I thought she had such a striking look and persona. I was just so sucked into her. But I thought the whole show was great. So yes, I do think that if anything, fix the juries, fix the voting process, and make it a little bit more balanced because it was not balanced enough. And that is the issue that we have seen in the past when it comes to Spain. They've often selected songs that the acts the fans did not want. I mentioned 2011 comes to mind, 2014, 2017, etc., etc. So there are a lot of examples where the jury just doesn't quite see the appeal for the masses, and it seems as they don't learn from their mistakes. That doesn't mean Chanel is going to flop. She may do really, really well. It just comes down to, the disconnect between the masses and the juries. That, at least, is my thinking. Let's see. Any other thoughts? Again, at ESC United about Spain, Benny Dornfest, Chanel, and all of that. Emily is saying, we need a ballad coming soon. I think the lineup is great, but everything is upbeat and I want something calmer to diversify things. Yes, I agree. I love me a good ballad. This year I was really into the bangers that Spain has, but when they do a ballad ride, Pastora, looking at you, it absolutely works well, and that is all I want. But I'm sure we're getting more ballads as time moves on. There always will be ballads. Don't you worry. So we're only 5 songs into this whole thing. So let's relax. Let's stress. I will also say one thing. I understand, and I don't want to just be like, you should be happy for Chanel. No one is saying you should be happy for her. You just shouldn't be mean to her. I always use the example, when people like pretend they're so happy because somebody else won the Oscar. I'm like, no, I wanted that thing. I'm upset. I'm not going to be angry at Meryl Streep for winning again, but I'm still kind of like bummed out. I wanted to win, so it is fine. Just like imagine I'm applying for a job and I made it all the way, and then they put me in a room with all the other 5 remaining applicants. And they're like, "Sorry, man, we're going to pick that guy." And I should I be like, "Yay, I'm so happy for you. You get the job opportunity of a lifetime that I didn't get." No, of course I wouldn't be happy. So I get that you're not going to be like cheer, but you're going to be professional and you're going to be reasonable, because I'm not going to be mad at the person who got the job. It's not their fault. So it's just fairly straightforward to me, I guess. It's a little bummed out. Hey, Matt, completely agree with you about Benidorm. Fest, I was Team Rigoberta, sad about the results. Fuego recipe all over again. Quick question: are you going to react to Portuguese songs this week? So, Pedro, as you said, since I'm all catching up, I'm trying to go in order of the actual national finals. I just recorded Estonia somehow won last night, so hopefully I'll be able to get that up within the next day or so. I'd still got to edit it all. It takes a long time. Minhinstenda fans, why do you think Eurovision fans always feel a need to comparisons to old songs, especially to Fuego? I've never understood why. It's something that I personally don't understand either. It always seems as Eleni Foureira, who is talented in the song, the state, it's like out of this world. Is she invented that style? I don't know if Helena Paparizou has a word with that. If anything, Beyonce had that kind of style already out before it was big in Eurovision, and it's has been around for a long time. And female pop bops, it's not a new thing. Just sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. And Eleni just did exceptionally well. And now everyone is looking at that one time it did really, really well at the contest and says, well, this is just a copycat. We no longer can have booty shaking female Southern European flavored entries. It's just a little silly to me as well. But it has always been that way. If a rock song wins one year and then another rock song is sent the next year, it's like, oh, that we're inspired by it. I'm like, no, we've had plenty of rock songs throughout the year. If anything, one thing that I hope will acts will get inspiration from is that you don't have to sing in English to do well at the contest. Looking at 2021, where 4 of the 5 songs in the top 5 were in English, a language other than English. So that is something to kind of take into consideration. So a lot of people are asking me questions about if I'm going to react to Albania, if I'm going to react to Norway, if I'm going to react to Israel, everything that all the national finals that are currently outstanding. My buddy Sean and I do as much as we can. I have a long list of reaction videos that I have to do. So the answer is yes, we'll do as many as possible. I saw Norway mentioned. I have not listened to the quarterfinals. I will probably do one for the finals. Sean is sending the semi-final stage. Israel, I'm sure, will be next. Again, I have so many out there. I need to. Estonia's out there, right? Finland is out there. Portugal is out there, and something else is out there. I really am just back somewhat to a normal live schedule. Plus, I'm moving in a couple of weeks. I bought a place, so that is going to be on top of it. So I'm doing the best I can. This is not my job. This is a hobby. So this is definitely. I work as hard as I can. I promise. I promise. I promise. But yeah, this is the Spanish, and we can talk more about this in a moment. But I want to at least, go a little bit over what else happened yesterday. This was another very interesting situation because, as I mentioned, Moldova also made a decision earlier in the day. I think the audition started at 1 p.m. Central European time, which is in the middle of the night for me. So I was not on for that, but the results did not come in until after 6 p.m., which is around 9 a.m. my time. So I was up for that because I usually get up like around 7:30 or 8. So, well, on the weekend, during the week, I have to get up earlier. But I am more of an early bird these days, which is very interesting. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about this. So apparently there were 28 live auditions in Moldova, and they were in the TRM studios. There was a withdrawal of the apparent, which I didn't listen to yet, fan favorite called Missy Catty Love. Somebody needs to tell me why they withdrew. Moldova has decided, though, in the end, and Zoop, along with Frati Advahov, they will represent the country at the Eurovision Song Contest 22 in Turin. The name of the song is Tren Nu Telul. So I still have to memorize all the names and the title of the songs. It just happened yesterday. I'll get better at it, I promise. Now, the decision has been made directly after the live auditions by a jury consisting of 4 members, including some familiar names. Geta Bolaku from Moldova 2008, Christina Scarlett, Moldova 2014, as well as Aliona Moon representing Moldova in 2013. She was also backup singer in 2012. The broadcaster also announced that to cancel their national selection on March 5th due to the COVID-19 restriction in Moldova. So there was too much going on. And so the song was ultimately chosen in a very rushed way, it seems. In case you're wondering, I'm talking about the band. They will remember the Moldovan folk punk band from their participation at Eurovision 2005. They came in 6th place with the Grandma, you remember? And then again in 2011 with So Lucky, the lady on the unibike. 12th place overall. Great results for them. Can they return to the finals again in 2022, or is that time has passed? In case you don't know, the group has been around for a long time. They were formed in 94, although there have been ever-changing lineups of it. Although I think the lead singer, he has been on there for the most part the entire time. They released 10 studio albums. So they have been, has had a long career. And Frati Advahov, they're a duo of folk musicians, and the song is very folk inspired, as you can hear. And they have joined the group this year for this event and this project. They're featured in white traditional clothing during the audition performance, and we'll see how close they're going to keep it for the Eurovision staging. They play the violin and the accordion, and they're certainly familiar performing at live concerts and events. And this is where we're at. Now, Moldova was represented last year, in case you don't remember, by Natalia Gorienko. She did her Sugar. It was a very talked about performance just because of all the whole, situation. We can go into that if you want to in the Q&A session, but that is basically where we are at. So, of course, the fans had their thoughts and opinions about it. And I did my own reaction video, which is located on our ESC United YouTube page. Feel free to check it out. I went through the recap of the auditions because there was no way I'm going to watch every single song. I just didn't have that time. But I got like a little snippet in. And then, of course, I reacted to the actual winner. So apparently, the winner is a little bit less popular, with a lot of people just being disappointed. I thought, here's the thing. I don't think necessarily that, I don't know the fan favorite, and I see a few comments on there. I'll check that in a moment. I was not counting that one. Just listening to the short snippets, there was nothing that really grabbed me, except for some of the carpet song was so silly that it was almost stand out and made it different. And then that one song called Boys kind of stood out to me, is again, just based on that snippet. So out of everything that I've seen, I like that song actually. Better than most what was in the running. I did think that it has more of a local restaurant band feel to it, but it adds diversity to the contest. It has a local folky sound, which I'm all in favor of. And one thing we've learned in the past from Moldova, do not ever count them out. Remember 2018 when no one thought they're going to go through and then they finished in the top 10? Hey Mama, Sunstruck Project, that was also not something that people thought would be in the top 3. Moldova often knows how to make things work. Even last year, Sugar, even though it was just only somewhere mid-table, people thought it's going to flop big time, myself included, actually. And then there's still something there where they do well. So do not count out Moldova, is what I'm saying. I think there is potentially a chance for them to do better than we all thought. I'm not quite as confident just yet. I have to wait for the final product because I'm a little worried about the juries. But all I'm saying is don't get too confident about about the potential flop of Moldova. I see there was a lot of crazy stuff. What are your thoughts about Moldova? Let me know in the chat at ESC United. Roy PM, who dat? Never heard of him. The withdrawn song was a continuous sound, slightly getting louder throughout for 1-ish minute without singing. Obviously a troll, quite funny that the broadcaster let that slip. Oh man, I will check that out later, Roy. But thanks for sharing that. I need to look into that because Moldova often is Trolldova, as I call them. And only because for us, everyone else in the world, this seems kind of like, right? But to be fair, maybe it's just really music that they really love, and it's a cultural thing. So I'm not making fun of anyone or anything. That's why I love Eurovision, that we get to hear that kind of sound. And once again, Moldova, not doing that shitty all the time, right? Moldova had a granny in a rocking chair. Yep. A woman in a unicycle. Yep. As I said, what is this time? A girl on the locomotive. Oh, that would be kind of cool. Like sitting on like a little train. No, whatever it is, you know they're going to put something. Now, keep in mind, they can only have 6 people on stage, and they already have the band members and the duo. What can they do? So they're probably going to have one kind of interesting aspect to it. I don't know what they're going to do, but whoever's going to be in Turin, whether it's going to be me or my team, we will certainly let you know. It's going to be interesting. Always watch our live streams from the rehearsals. And I see a lot of questions popping up for other topics for right now. Let's stay on Moldova and Spain, and then at the very end, we'll do an open Q&A. How does that sound? I think Moldova is being written off too soon. Doritos were written off before Eurovision 2, and we all knew what happened there. That's exactly what I just said, Connor. So we are on the same page. And just for the record, just because I want to brag, I always love, almost said Doritos. There's a chips here in the US. Doritos. I like that song from the beginning. And when the staging come in, I was like, there you go. They're going to do really well. Some people thought it's going to win. I'm like, it's not going to win. But if they're going to make top 10, that would be a success already. And they did. So yes, that's what I'm saying. Moldova, you are still on my radar. And supporters of the song or people from Moldova, don't let this current lack of enthusiasm discourage you, because again, we've seen a lot of things that are going on. And my Eurovision TV says my aunt, the wife of my dad's brother, yeah, that's usually how aunts work, but sorry, Oh no, I got it. The wife of my dad's brother. So it's not like we're like, got it, got it, got it. My bad. I'm a dick. It's from Moldova, and the wedding was with these sounds and songs. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think there is a market out there that it's touching that we are not even aware of. And people always think it needs to be the latest Bob for it to do well. I don't think that's the case. Now, I'm not comparing it to Portugal, Salvador in terms of style, but no one thought Salvador could win this whole thing. Moldova will not win 22. But I'm just saying there may be a market for that out there. So again, I'm going back. I'm talking just in circles. Don't give up hope just yet, because anything can happen. So those are the 2 songs that were chosen yesterday. We are up to 5 songs now, after apparently we were stuck with 3 songs for the last 20 years. So now you get to do your top 5 video, which, by the way, the readers of and followers of EC Night have voted for their top 5. The video will hopefully be up later this evening if I have time after the live stream, if not first thing tomorrow morning, to see where you voted. And going forward, you will be able to vote on our forum as well. I'll leave instruction in the video, so make sure to check back on that. And I see a few more questions about other topics. Let's just talk about some of the things that are happening or have happened over the last couple of days or next few days. I know that there was the Israeli songs that have been released, 8 potential entries for Turin. And before you even start talking, yes, I will listen to them and share the video. So don't you worry. I know that Sanremo in Italy is coming up. Big deal. I have to work throughout the week, but I will try to watch the final for sure. And I'm super excited about that as well. And I see, I know Lithuania had shows. Norway had shows. I already addressed those. So there's a lot going on in the Eurovision world that I still need to catch up on. So don't you worry. I'm working as hard as I can with the time I have on my hands. So yes, more to come. And let's today I wanted to give a little bit more extra time to the Q&A session, so now you can throw anything at me Eurovision related and see where it takes us at ESC United in the chat. Also, a big thank you to all the people who became members here on YouTube for ESC United supporting the channel, because doing Eurovision is not cheap. So thank you for that. Same for those who have done super chats in the past or donation through multiple ways. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me take a look at some of these questions. What is your current favorite peer? So I don't know. You know what? What's really terrible? I think I've listened to the songs only once. So I need to. So ask me that question again, maybe next week during the next live stream, because I need to listen to them again. Because I find these songs, a lot, the 3 of them, I would say almost equal, on an equal level. I just have, if I need to kind of rank them. I haven't done that yet, because one song I don't remember all the way, which is Albania. I listened to it once, and Sean did the reaction video. I was sick, so I couldn't do it. And I'm not going to do a reaction video now because I've seen it. What I'm going to do, pretend I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen it before. I've watched it, so I cannot do a reaction video that is not genuine. Emma is asking, will you be live streaming from the rehearsals in Turin? So here's the big elephant in the room. Let me have some water. What's happening in Turin? So obviously we don't know exactly 100% yet what's going to happen with the press, with the contest, with the current pandemic that is still ongoing. Hopefully things will be in a better shape come May, and things will move on as intended. So assuming things will go as intended, ESC United will most certainly be in Turin. We'll have representatives there for the live streams. Now, in terms of my attendance, that remains to be seen. Keep in mind, the problem is I'm in the United States, and going to Europe at this point is not an easy task. You can, and I'll see what I can do, but I still have some health stuff in addition to that with the whole COVID thing, even though I'm vaccinated and I got the booster. And if I get COVID at any point in time, whether right before I depart or if I'm there, I'm stuck. I can't come home until I get a negative test. So it puts me in a really awkward position. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with me. So that remains to be seen. I may or may not be in Turin. So keep that in mind. It is definitely something that I wanted to be very transparent about. But I do know that we have definitely, I've already a team mostly selected that will be there. And if I have to find someone to replace me, I will do so. But I'm not giving up hope just yet, right? We still got a few months to go. And if I'm not there, I will be there virtually, right? Because the press will have access to the rehearsals via live stream. So I can do that as well. So I will be part of the live coverage, just maybe potentially not there physically, but we shall see. But I want to go. I want to go so bad. You have no idea. Last year in Rotterdam, it was difficult. Oh, it was so scary. Not scary in terms of like me, the whole thing, but just all because it was still a little bit more like what's going on. You travel to Europe was completely blocked unless you had a business reason. So I showed up in at the LAX, the Los Angeles airport, and had my papers in hand from the EBU saying, look, I'm there for work. And they're like, the EB, what? That's just a stupid piece of paper that means nothing to us. I'm like, yeah, but that's what they gave us. I need to go. And they're like, no, that's not good enough. I'm like, I need to go. My flight's in a couple of hours. And they're like, "Mm." So they're like, well, figure it out. I was a little bit pushy. I'm a nice person, but when that kind of stuff happens, um, I get a little like, come on. It's easy for you to say. So the person at the counter went to the supervisor, and the supervisor actually had to call the Dutch embassy, right? To like, is this legit? And they're like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, you can go. Oh, thank God. So that was a pain. But then when I flew back on top of it as well, if I had gotten COVID, I couldn't have gotten back. In addition, I showed them a negative COVID test at the airport, and they're like, this is not good enough. That's not a one we accept. I'm like, you didn't say that before. I was at the airport before. So I missed my flight. And then I had to stay in the hotel, had a nurse come to my hotel room just so I can do a test with them that they would accept at the airport. So the point is, it was pretty intense. And then the daily, getting tested every other day at Eurovision. It's when you live on a different continent, it can be pretty intimidating. So I have to take all of that into consideration. But I want to go. It's not for the lack of me wanting to go, because yeah, duh. Anyway, I got some more questions. Forgive me, I gotta get on a little tantrum here. Questions at ESC United in the chat. Jokase, what's up? You can do a reaction video even though you've already heard the song. We're still interested in your opinion and insight. Jokase, I will definitely take that into consideration, and I probably will do a reaction video for Albania when the revamped version is out, only because I do have to prioritize a little. I'm so far behind. I'll do what I can. I do work 40 to 50 hours a week on my regular job. I'm moving, and I do have a social life as well. So I'm engaged. So it's a lot going on. So yeah. What else do we have? Actually, what are your thoughts on the official art and the new logo? So I actually mostly missed that announcement. I'm terrible. I was again taking care of other things, and it was not much on my radar. Looking at it, it looks fine. And in terms of the slogan, which maybe not be the best thing, I forgot already. Like I read it and then like, okay, the sound of beauty. Slogans for me are just whatever. This one seems super vague. So I know that there's probably a more a message behind it that I don't get just by hearing it, but it's not that big of a deal. It's fine. The logo itself looks cool. I like it. Yeah. I have to compare it to other years and see how that one goes. But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, no, I do like it. Jelly, what do you think about season 10? Oh no, S10. And the Netherlands singing in Dutch again after 12 years. So I went once I was back in the Eurovision bubble. I looked at some of the artists that have been announced, but we don't have a song. I haven't listened to anything S10 has put forward. So I cannot really comment on her or her talent. But I am thrilled that the Netherlands is singing in Dutch. Again, maybe that's an effect of what happened last year. I hope so. I absolutely hope so, and I am thrilled. I'm a big proponent of not having a language rule. I want creative and artistic freedom, but I'm also at the same time encouraging countries to sing at least at a bare minimum occasionally in their native tongue. So I'm looking at you, Sweden. I'm looking at you, Germany. Make it happen. Make it happen. You can do well. Yes, and not always, it doesn't work all the way. Denmark kind of didn't make it, but they were close. And keep in mind, the televoters still loved it anyway. So don't let that discourage you. And thank you, by the way, for all the congratulations in the chat. It is very much appreciated. What do you? Oh no, we answered that one already. People are liking the lack of blue in the artwork. That is a very good point. We love blue in the logos, right? So every once in a while, I like pop colors that pop anyway. Make it a nice, fun green or yellow. Just like, I'm all about colors. That's how I decorate my place as well. Like, I like colors. We have 3 bathrooms in our new place, and so one will be like the blue one will be the green one. So I'm all about colors. So I'm absolutely in favor of that. Benji is saying, did you hear the Israeli selection? I would love to get your input on the songs before we vote on Thursday. Oh my God, you vote on Thursday? Benji, I have not listened to them yet because, again, it's super early here. It's not even 11 in the morning yet here, and I've been doing the live stream and I'm editing videos. But thank you for letting me know. I didn't realize the votes are coming up so soon. I'll make sure to have that one. I put a priority on that video as well. That's what I do with all the songs that are out currently. I prioritize them in terms of when they are due. So I'll make sure to put Israel a little bit higher in my ranking. So thank you for that. Can't you make Sean also say "sup you fools" too? It isn't feel like it would feel a little forced, doesn't it? Here's the thing: I didn't ever plan to make this like the ESC United thing. It just kind of evolved because people thought it was funny. I know that I think it was in 1998 where the host kind of said, "You fools," and I thought it was so funny that I kept using that, and then it became a thing. But it would be weird. Sean has a different energy than I do, right? He is more cool, calm, and collected. I'm more the one. Oh, I'm very animated. So I don't know. It would be felt maybe a little forced if he were to do it. It needs to be a natural thing. So yeah. What do you think about so many national finals coming back this year? Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Spain, etc. The more national finals, the better. I understand some countries traditionally have been doing better as of late with internal selections, Switzerland, Austria, the Netherlands, but I am always more about give the people a choice. You feel having bigger connection to the song often, and it's more fun. So if it were up to me, we would have 41 national finals, which in one way, maybe I'm glad we don't because that kind of work, oh Lord. But now, in serious note, I'm glad that countries like Ireland are returning to it. Iceland is not a surprise, and especially like Israel and Iceland. Well, Israel technically had like something last year, but it was a very minor one between the songs. Iceland, not a surprise. A lot of national finals went away in 21 for for a reason, and I support that because you wanted to have the 2020 acts that had their contest canceled on them get a shot at Eurovision. So that was fair. I get it. I missed a lot of the national finals. So the fact that they're returning is not a surprise, but I'm relieved. But I think it was fair that they did not occur. And by the way, yes, today it's only me here because it was a little bit more of the last minute Mattitude now that I'm back to somewhat normal. But going forward, we'll have, of course, guests, whether it's Sean or James or Roy or whoever, Gabe on here as well. So you're not just going to look at my stupid face all the time. Are you going to cover America Vision, Julie? Yes. So Eurovision will take precedence, right? Because I know they almost overlap. So it makes it a little difficult. But yes, I will absolutely cover it the best way possible. I'm still a little hesitant, not hesitant, uh, pessimistic, concerned that it's just not going to be the same thing. I'm glad it's original music and I'm thrilled that they at least give it a shot. I just don't know if this will catch on, knowing Americans and what they like and what they go for. Maybe my American fellow Americans will surprise me, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to be the same, but I'm more than open to be proven wrong. But the point, to answer your question, yes, I will absolutely cover it. Because, I would cover it if Asia Vision would have come to fruition, I would have covered that as well. So, or we, I should have said. That is where we are. So again, we got a couple of more minutes at ESC United in the chat. I would love to hear your thoughts. What Peter asked a similar question that I answered earlier. Do you prefer national finals or internal selections? Always prefer national finals. Even if again, we can take Spain as an example. If the favorite doesn't win, then the fan favorite doesn't win. There's always a backlash, unlike internal selections. But I'd rather take that than not having national finals. It's always just the kind of approach that I have. Bonnie is asking, according to the 5 songs announced and the national final, what do you think about this year? Do you think it'll be a good and competitive year? So right now, looking at the 5 songs, if we're gonna stay the way it is a competitive year. Because right now, I don't have a clear favorite out of the 5, but there's also not a single song that I dislike. Now, there comes Bulgaria in mind, that probably is the least popular song right now, which I completely understand. I probably would have put at the bottom of my list as of right now as well, but I don't dislike the song. It's just a little beige, right? It's just this fine rock song, but I do like that kind of music, so I have no issues with it, and I doubt it's going to stay at the bottom of my list. But the others, I'm kind of like fine with all of them. None of them I dislike. They're all good songs. None of the songs so far I would say are like, oh my god, that's my winner. That moment hasn't come yet, but I do like them all. So if this were to continue for the next 36 songs to come, I'd be like, yeah, this is a solid year, but I don't know if there's going to be a song that I am going to go crazy over. Emily Freeman. Oh, Emily raises a really good question that I haven't really discussed yet. What do you think about the semifinal and find them equal this year? Not one stronger than the other. I know that this past week that the allocation has taken place, and this one has not really paid attention to that one. So let's do this together, shall we? Let's talk running order. Well, not running order, but allocation. Okay, I'm bringing it up right now. Give me 2 hot seconds here. I'm clicking wrong buttons. But the running order has been pretty solid as of late. So I'm hoping that this will be the case going forward. Let me bring this up here right now. I'll share my view. Hold on tight. Share. Here we go. So, I'm so small now. Let's do it this way. Now, I need to make it bigger. But I can see that the semi-final one, that is too much, is currently Albania, Bulgaria, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Netherlands, Slovenia, Switzerland, and Ukraine. And then the second half is Armenia, Austria, Croatia, Denmark, Greece, Iceland, Norway, Portugal, Russia. I can see that the 3 Nordic countries already right there in the second half. So there's a lot of support there. Sweden and Norway, not Sweden, Sweden and Finland are in the other one, although Finland always was a little bit more of the evil stepchild and never got as many points as the rest of them. So yeah, looking at it, This one, I'm trying to see if there's any country that's gonna benefit a lot from this. Russia is in this one. They'll usually be like the big point getter from friends. They have Armenia in there. Okay, Ukraine is a very awkward situation there, obviously. Uh, they get some points from Lithuania and Latvia, Moldova. So I don't think this is the worst case scenario for Russia, but Russia, regardless of the draw, they always have some support. So they will have the upper leg here anyways, I think. At least that is mine. So it's very hard to say this right now. The second semifinal. Australia, Azerbaijan, Cyprus, Finland, Georgia, Israel, Malta, San Marino, Serbia. First half. Okay. Then Belgium, Czech Republic, Estonia, Ireland, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Poland, Romania, and Sweden second half. It seems fairly even keeled. Is it me? I like the allocation. I like it very much. There's no such thing as the perfect one because there's always friendly voting. But no, looking at this, I'm quite satisfied with this one. Yeah. Yeah, how do you guys feel? I'd love to hear from you. But I think that this turned out pretty good. Um Again, then maybe it really comes down to the quality of the songs. Now, of course, then once you make the finals, that's going to be a different story again, how things pan out. But yeah, in all seriousness, though, the allocation draw to me is pretty good. Emma is saying it's hard to draw any conclusions about the semifinals without hearing all songs. That is true. It always comes down to the songs. But just about the friendly voting, I think that one has been somewhat decreased, not eliminated. You will never be able to eliminate it. But some of the obvious ones, are a lot of them are separated. Greece and Cyprus are not in the same one. Moldova and Romania are separated, and then the Nordic countries, Sweden is away from, like, again, we have Norway, Iceland, and Denmark kind of in the same pot. Lithuania is a country that people often forget about. Their diaspora being very, very powerful. In a lot of countries like Norway, the UK. Who's voting in these, by the way? I should check that out. France and Italy will vote in this semi. That's right. We're not going to have a direct semifinalist or like traditional semifinalists. We're going to have one less song in this finals. So only France and Italy will vote in this one, while the UK, Spain, and Germany will vote in the second semi. So yeah, I do think that it's tough for everyone. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I think this was a good draw overall. Let me see if they're one thing I don't remember every running order over the past few years. I'm trying to figure out if there are any like traditionally countries that often are in the first half. I think this is Austria often gets first half, and then once again did get a first half. I noticed that. So, but the rest seems pretty fair. I'm super excited. Serbia and Montenegro are together, my Eurovision TV points out. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Serbia also I forgot about Serbia, a very strong vote getter from a lot of countries. And not just the ex-Yugoslavian countries, but countries like Austria or Switzerland, right? Always give them a lot of points, but both Austria and Switzerland are in the other semi. Who does Serbia besides Montenegro has? They're going to get points from North Macedonia. North Macedonia and Albania separated too, by the way. So I think that Serbia's impact has been diminished a little bit as well. And I always said people don't talk about Serbia and Lithuania enough when it comes to the friendly voting because they get a lot of support. So that is very interesting. So yeah, I am satisfied with the draw, but now it comes down to the songs, which is nice. A fair field, even field. Let me see here. A few more questions. Serbia, Montenegro are together. Some at Belgium, ES United. Yeah, Belgium, not necessarily always like guaranteed a lot of points. The only friendly vote they usually have is the Netherlands, and ooh, they're separated as well. And Belgium is in the second half. At least that's good. And I also love that Azerbaijan and Armenia separated. It is true they're separated, but they have the opposite effect. They always give each other 0 points. So that is very interesting as well. But yeah, so this is overall a good running order, and I'm super excited, and I'm ready for this thing to get going. Um, I'm trying to see what songs we get next week. I'm looking at the list right now. Do we get any songs? Israel, yeah, February the 5th, as we pointed out, so I got to do that one next. Ireland on February the 4th, and North Macedonia on February the 4th. So those are a few songs that are coming up. I'm super excited about. I'm having a big, my fingers are really crossed, well, like for Ireland and North Macedonia, of course for Israel as well, but at least Israel has had a good track record. Unlike Ireland, who has been struggling every single year, I want them to do well and feel encouraged by good result to continue the national final. And of course, North Macedonia, yes, fantastic result in 2019, but other than that, they always suck. At least in terms of results, not always on quality, but the outcome, they always kind of fall flat. So I'm really hoping for some really good stuff. At least that is my opinion. So I'm looking out for that one. Which of these the countries that have never won do you think deserves it the most? Deserve is relative, right? But what is the criteria to tell someone you deserve it? But I will say that I am definitely rooting for Iceland. They're passionate about it. It's a small country, would be great exposure. They have great music often. So I would be thrilled to see Iceland win as well. Plus, it's the easiest country for me to get to, you know? So yeah, I would be stoked for actually Iceland. Mostly for me, it's all just about selfish reasons, not like who deserves it. Like, I really want Czech Republic to win because I love that country to bits, and it's cheap, and I want to go there again. I've been there twice, so I'd love to go back. And in terms of a country that hasn't won yet, that I would love to see. Now, I have never really explored the ex-Yugo world, so as soon as an ex-Yugo country wins, I'll be there, right? So I'm rooting for Croatia. Croatia needs to win as well. Plus, I often like their music. But any country that hasn't won, I would be super excited about. So Israel, somebody is saying Italy also picks their song on February the 5th. Oh my God, I won't have a life for the time being. Hey, what are you guys doing to me? But yeah, so again, I would root for any country that hasn't won yet. Not that I wouldn't root for countries that have won, because some of the countries, France, it's been 40 what years since they won. Most of us haven't been even born yet. And then Spain. Anyone remembers the last win for Spain? Yes, 1969, which was a four-way tie anyway, so it wasn't even that great of a win. So they've been waiting for 53 years. Now, I don't think they're going to win this year, to be fair, but I'm kind of, I want countries that haven't won in a long time, even Switzerland, it's been over 30 years. I don't want to go to Switzerland. Oh, that's so expensive. So any country that hasn't won in a very long time, I would be thrilled for as well. And if a country wins that has won recently, then so be it. Although, yeah, I mean, I'm not that I'm not rooting for Israel, because if Israel has the best song, they should win. But I'm okay not for Netherlands or Israel to win, but that is just a selfish thing for me because, I want to see places. But even if Israel were to win, I always combine that kind of visit. My stop last time was in Rome. So I spent like 4 or 5 nights in Rome. And then if it's going to be next time, I'm just going to spend 4 or 5 days in whatever country, right? So I'll make it work. So the best song should win, right? That is the politically correct answer anyways, and I'll stick with that. But go Iceland. I'd love to see Armenia can take ESC and JESC in the same year. Armenia, yes, although I would like, not the same country to win in the same year, but I want Armenia to do really, really well, top 3. only because they had a rough few years as well, in some instances unfairly. So I really want them to come back. And my Eurovision.tv, my Eurovision TV is saying, could Italy do a back-to-back win? Yeah, absolutely. We've known the quality that they put forward, the popularity. Winning is hard. It's very, very hard, right? Even if you're a great song, things really have to line up for you. And Italy has the recipe almost every year. So I'm hoping that this will continue as well this time around, and hope they're not going to get the host curse that we've seen on so many different occasions. Um, but yeah, no, I think Italy. Look at the stock quality that is lined up there right now. The big names. That doesn't necessarily mean the song's going to be good. Il Volo comes to mind. I really loved their song in 2015. Was probably my favorite. And then when they returned a few years later, I was underwhelmed with their entry. So just because it's a big name and that I loved the first time around does not translate to, yeah, I'm going to support you this time. What do you think of Poland having a national final once again? I'm over the moon, and I think that's when they excel. The last couple of years, when they were chosen internally, they flopped. Yes, you can make a case. The one time they flopped as well with the, well, 2020 was canceled. The national, yeah, so that doesn't count. 21 was internal, and that was a pretty controversial choice anyway. Tulia, as much as that song grew on me, I understand why it didn't go through. And then in 2018, holy 18, that national final winner didn't qualify, but previously they did. So Poland has a better track record choosing a song via a national final, and I do think that they should continue down that route. I mean, that is my thinking. And yeah, Poland would be another country that I would love to see win, because I'm like 60% Polish. I know that my 3 of my grandparents were from the Polish area. So I'm Polish now. So it would be fun to reconnect with my roots, which I've never really done a whole lot. So that would be cool. Plus, I want to travel that country as well. Ivan is addressing a big elephant in the room here, which I'd rather not talk about, but I understand the question. Do you think the situation between Russia and Ukraine will have any impact on the competition this year? This booing in 2014 was really bad. Ivan, if you thought the 2014 booing was bad, watch 2015. I thought that was even worse, because they were almost winning Russia, and Polina was just breaking down and crying. Conchita Wurst had to come to her defense and support her. It was terrible. But it all depends on the next few days, weeks, and how things will plan out here. Hopefully, we don't have to go to that place, but if I don't know what's going to happen. So, but I do think that let's just say I would not want to be the Russian representative this year. It'll be probably, regardless of the situation, be an awkward situation for them with the audience. So, and there will be probably some hostility. And it sucks because I know that Eurovision is supposed to stay above the fray. These are unique circumstances, unique times. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you on this one. This would be a very complicated topic. What do you think of Lithuania's selection, and especially Lolita Zero? Adam, Jürgen, Slack, I have not listened to Lithuania yet. Sean has taken the lead on that. So I will listen to the songs once the finalists are known, because I just need to prioritize. Ruben Reacts mentions politics are not allowed in Eurovision. That is true, but everything is politics, right? Belarus. Think of Belarus. They're kicked out. That was politics. They will if God forbid Russia would start a war, there comes a point where you can no longer let them in, where it does affect the contest. But it doesn't come to be just because we don't like the ruler of this country, and where they're going, that would interfere with the contest, or like the ability to take part in the contest. They're above that kind of. But there is a line, right, where you can no longer just ignore it. And Belarus is an example here. So now, granted, they also went a different route. They tried to put political songs into the contest. That's why they were eliminated. But even then, their EBU membership has been removed as well. So things like that could happen to Russia. they may be removed from the EBU, and then they can no longer take part. So I think that is more than anything the most likely outcome here, if things were to go down south, which I know it's an awkward and uncomfortable topic to talk about in the happy world of Eurovision, but we do live in the real world. So I'm not gonna pretend certain things are not happening, you know. So yeah, what are we? I will ask a question, and people keep thanking me for the thanking me, congratulating me for the engagement. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, this is the live stream for today, and I will have to go to work now. By work, I mean Eurovision videos. Thank you for spending the hour and plus with me. I will be back for sure next week. And make sure to follow me on Twitter to have like the daily chats, as well as subscribe to this channel, as I am going to continue putting forward reaction videos and new stuff. So thanks again for all your patience, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.